Hey everybody, Ezra Collections here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at another action figure review. This time we are looking at the Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Superman. Looking at the packaging for Superman, he comes in a really big box. It's a little bit chunkier than the boxes that I'm used to. It's a really cool packaging with a wide open window here where you can see the action figure completely. The accessories are hidden behind this image. The image of Superman here is pretty cool. It's a picture of the action figure, so it's even better and shows Superman to be very dynamic. This is obviously the Amazing Yamaguchi action figure and it's powered by Revoltech, so some of the joints are made by Revoltech. There's a really nice Superman logo here and some DC logos at the bottom here, and the graphics are really nice. It's like a comic book panel that's just, I don't know, it's drawn from a comic book, and you get like this really cool guy that's behind here. It looks like a soldier or something. We get a really cool picture of Superman on this side, cool logo of DC here. On the back here, explosion of colors. This looks like the images that were used for the solicitation of this figure. At the bottom here, 5 different types of heads for Superman, so that's what I'm really excited about. On this side of the box, we get a cool concept art of Superman and his eyes are glowing red. Series number 027, so that's Superman, sculpted by Yamaguchi Katsuhisa. At the bottom here, we basically get the Superman text, some DC licensing logos here, and a whole bunch of Japanese text that I do not understand, and I think it's Japanese at least. On the top here, we get another picture of New 52 Superman, Superman logo in red. Yeah, nothing much, just says Amazing Yamaguchi. So that's a pretty cool box. A lot of colors and very vibrant, so I really like it. Taking the Superman out of packaging, the first thing I noticed is this really cool backdrop of Superman. This looks like it's from the New 52 comic book series. We also get 2 levels in the box. So this is the bottom level and you get the plastic cape of Superman. You get the display stand at the bottom here and some extra pegs. In the same layer, you get a plastic bag with the cloth cape, and we'll take a better look at that later. And on the top layer, we get the Superman action figure, all of his different interchangeable hands and his interchangeable heads. So this is the Superman action figure outside of packaging, and Amazing Yamaguchi has come a really long way because Superman does not look awkward or weird when just basically standing up. So this is a very neutral pose and he still looks very, very nice. The cape on the Superman is a little bit weird when it comes out of the box because it's just like this stub here. So you can basically plug the plastic wings into this, or you can take this part out completely to change it up with the cloth cape. So taking a closer look at Superman, the head sculpt is really nice. It definitely looks like the New 52 counterpart of Superman. The hair's done really well as well. It's just very glossy and catches a lot of light, reflects it back, which is really nice. Yeah, the head's just so cool. I can't get over it. The neck is pretty chunky at the base here, but it is tapered in so that the head can basically fit on. The chest and the shoulders are humongous. It's just a really beefy Superman. The S symbol on Superman is completely sculpted and really eye-catching, which is amazing. The panel lines from the New 52 comic book series is really nice. It's all in there, so that's definitely amazing. The belt is very nice as well. It's a very monotone kind of red paint, but it's still really well done and I think very accurate to the comic books. The legs are fairly neutral as well. There's not too much going on. There's good musculature and there's panel linings from the New 52 style of comics, also at the calf here. But the boots, again, they're a separate piece and they've got a lot of details as well, but they're like a flatter kind of color. So there's not too much in terms of color, but everything that is there is really accurate to the comics and it's really nice, really well done. At the back here, because I've removed the cape, there's a gaping hole, and the neck is also a gaping hole, which allows, I guess, for articulation, but we'll get into that later. So for the cape, we get 2 distinct options. On the right, we have the cloth cape, which has the S symbol basically printed and stamped on. The only thing that's a little bit weird about this cape is that the bezels or the sides of the cape is a bit chunky, so it's a little bit thick. There's a wire going all the way around here, all the way through the bottom and all the way to the other side. So it's a thick wire that will hold a lot of poses, and this is basically the knob that sticks into Superman's back, and I think this is a plastic piece that's up here, and you can maneuver it a little bit, so you can basically maneuver that a little bit, so you might even be able to take this off completely, but I'll not be doing that. But it's a pretty cool cape. We'll put him on Superman next. But We've also got another option, which is the plastic cape. And the plastic cape, it does make a S at the back, but if you spread it apart, the S does get divided into two pieces. So that's a little bit weird, but I guess if you're looking at Superman from the front, it will be posed so that you can't see the S. So that's fine. The plastic is a very hard plastic, and the articulation on the cape is a little bit weird because this part basically runs into this and this part runs into this. So when you're posing it, it basically does flex the top as well. So that is a little bit weird, but it's still a posable plastic cape. And because you get the other option as well, it's not a bad thing. So here we have Superman in one of those iconic Superman poses, and he's got the cloth cape on. I think it's a really good look for Superman. There is a little bit of bunching up top here, but it's not that bad. And because the wires are so thick, you can actually maneuver it pretty easily. So this is probably my favorite look of this action figure with the cloth cape, but we'll try on the plastic cape next. So here we have Superman with the plastic cape, and I do have to admit that it is a little bit weird to get it to pose around. It basically hits itself and also the figure, and it's because it's really rigid. It just makes life a little bit too difficult in terms of posing the action figure. I mean, you could probably get a lot done if you know what you're doing, but for me, it's really difficult to basically maneuver around, and I wouldn't recommend the plastic cape. So taking a closer look at the different head sculpts that come with the Superman, here is the initial head that he came with. A very neutral look. He's looking up slightly. So that's that. And if we plug the head out, the neck came out as well, but that's alright. If we plug the head out, there is a hair piece that's basically sitting underneath his head, which looks like that basically. And then that plugs into, or that's a floating piece that sits on the neck. So here we have Superman with the angry heat vision head, and he does look terrifying. There's a little bit of a scuff on the nose, and the teeth do look a little bit weird, but then it still fits the aesthetics of the action figure, and since it's a comic book kind of action figure, I guess it does work quite a bit. So here we have the side-eyed head for Superman. Superman's looking off to his right. It does look like the head sculpt is pretty similar to the other ones. The hair looks similar as well. The only thing that's different is that he is looking off to the right. And yeah, it's not bad. I mean, you can get him to dynamically look at things when you want him to with just like a head swap, but then because it's just a differently painted eye and it's just looking off to the side, I'm not sure if I'm that excited about having a different head, which is just looking slightly to the right. So here we have Superman with his eyes looking slightly left, and this is exactly the same head sculpt as the other ones. And finally, we've got the same exact head sculpt, but with the eyes painted looking straight ahead, which is probably my favorite of all the different heads we get. I mean, I am a little bit disappointed that Superman's expression does not change too much from head to head. It's basically just the same head with the eyes looking at different positions, but we do get one expression head, which is nice. And overall, the heads do look comic accurate, so I do still like them, and the head fits the body really well, but I would have loved a little bit more variety. Moving on to the hands, Superman does come with two fist hands by default in the packaging, and the hands do not look that bad. They're sculpted really well, and they're very consistent in terms of that material basically coming onto Superman's hand. But the fists are really well done, and there's a lot of sculpting detail in there. Next up, we've got two flight hands for the left and the right, and they can also be used as karate chop hands. These hands are sculpted again really well. You can also put him in like a salute pose, which would make it look really patriotic, I guess, so that's pretty cool. Here we have two very aggressive looking hands for Superman, and they are pretty amazing. They're sculpted really well. These are probably one of my favorite hand sculpts for Superman. It's just really aggressive looking, and it goes really well with the head. If you get him into dynamic flight poses where he's basically shooting out his eye beam, these hands are amazing. So I'll put him into a few poses later on, but just one of the hands that I like the most on this figure. So next up, Superman with his relaxed pair of hands, and they look very relaxed. They're pretty nice, very natural and neutral sculpted hands. So it's really nice. You can get him into a lot of relaxed poses. And finally, the only pair of non-symmetrical hands on this action figure, we get a gripping hand for the left, so he can basically hold on to stuff, maybe even accessories. It is flexible, so you can get stuff in there, which is pretty cool. And for the right, we get a pointing finger, so basically commanding the Justice League or different things you can do with it. But yeah, these are the only non-symmetrical hands. So with all of that out of the way, let's get to the part where this action figure should shine the most, and this is what Amazing Yamaguchi is known most for, the articulation. In terms of the head can look up quite a bit, so he can get into pretty cool flight poses, no issues there. He cannot look down that much. The neck does help a little bit, so he is looking slightly down, but he doesn't look down that much. On the back here, there is a big gaping hole, so that does explain why he can go that far back, which is pretty decent. He also has side to side, so the head can do a little bit of a tilt on either side, and the neck allows for a whole lot more movement. The arms can go up all the way, but it looks very gappy. There's basically a chunk of muscle missing here, so it does look gappy. So for people that don't like figures that gap up, this is probably not for them. There are two joints at the shoulder here, so basically there's a ball that goes into the shoulder here, and there's another ball that can hinge that goes into the body, so it allows for a lot of movement, which is pretty cool. The biceps can go all the way around, but it does look gappy at places, so we need to be careful of how we pose this figure. The elbow can go in about that much, and for a single jointed elbow, that's pretty good, but it does again look gappy. The elbow can also allow some pivot, which is nice. The fists are on pegs, ball pegs, so they can go in and out, and if you configure them to go up and down, they can do that as well, and they can go all the way around. There is another joint at the torso that I don't know what it does. I can't get it to move that much, but oh, there you go. So it basically can go back and forth, so it's pretty cool. But then usually that part of the body does move on a human body, but because there's flesh on top, you can't really see that move on its own. So it's a weird kind of articulation, but if you know how to use it, you can get it to look pretty nice. The diaphragm joint can go up not that much, because there's a huge piece that's going back here that basically hinders that articulation a little bit. But if you crunch him forward, he can crunch forward quite a lot, so that's very impressive. But the back is hindered by that piece a little bit. He can also rotate at the diaphragm, pretty cool. He can rotate at the waist as well, no issues there. He can crunch forward at the waist, so basically all in all, if you're getting Superman to crunch forward, he is doing quite a lot. And moving backwards, he can do that much, which is with both joints engaged, so he should get into really cool flying poses. Side to side tilt is not that bad. At the waist, we again can pivot the waist around at this joint here. The legs can kick out about that much. There's a thigh joint here, which is really weird. It's a really angular kind of thigh joint. It's not perpendicular, so it's not like a straight cut here. It's cut at an angle, so if you rotate his leg, it does kick out. I'm not sure if it's accurate to the human body, but it's just a weird articulation part that you really need to get used to, I guess. He can kick up without twisting. Oh, so with the twist, he can kick up a whole bunch more. But without twisting, yeah, that part gets in the way a little bit. He cannot kick back much because of the sculpted butt. There is a single hinge at the knee, but because of the way it's shaped, it just allows for a lot of motion, so he can kick his own butt even with a single hinge. So that's pretty impressive. So there are two thigh twists, one here, one here. So yeah, I guess if you get both to articulate, he can do a lot. So it's pretty cool, but it does look a little bit weird when it breaks up like the body sculpt. The boots can swivel around, and they could probably go a full 360, but because of the sculpts here, it is a little bit more difficult, but you can push it to go further. The ankles are on ball hinges, so they can go forward, back, they can pivot, no issues, and there's a toe articulation at the end as well, which is a little bit less than the Mafex toe articulation, but it still gets quite a lot of motion. So there is a lot of articulation at really odd points for this action figure, but for people who know how to articulate and pose this figure, they're gonna get a lot done. In terms of height, this Superman stands roughly about 6.5 inches. Here we have Superman next to two other Amazing Yamaguchi action figures. On the left, we've got the knockoff bootleg version of Wolverine, and on the right, we've got the Arkham Knight. Here we have Superman next to the Mattel DC Multiverse Kingdom Come Superman on the left, and my own custom Mezco style Superman on the right. On the left here, we've got the DC Mattel Multiverse New 52 Darkseid action figure, and on the right, we've got the Marvel Legends Ben Reilly Spider-Man. Now, here we have two 7-inch action figures for comparison. On the left, we've got the Dark Knight Returns McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman, and on the right, we've got the McFarlane DC Multiverse Zack Snyder's Superman. And now for more Darkseid, we've got the Storm Collectibles Injustice Darkseid on the left, and the DC McFarlane Multiverse Zack Snyder's Justice League Darkseid on the right. And finally, we have the Storm Collectibles Injustice Darkseid. So all in all, this Superman has a lot of good posability and dynamicness to basically the action figure. It's really bulky, captures the New 52 essence of Superman really well. You get options and different parts you can swap to your heart's content. The joints do look a little bit gappy, and the hands are a little bit difficult to swap in and out, and the plastic cape is a little bit difficult to maneuver. But this figure comes with a lot of things and does a lot of things really right. It does not look bad even when it's just standing up, where typically a lot of Yamaguchi figures do look a little bit weird. So I am really impressed with this figure, and if they make a Batman New 52 or otherwise, I'm definitely getting an Amazing Yamaguchi Batman. So there you have it, guys, another review done. I really hope you enjoyed this content, and I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please do click the like button down below. If you want to let me know anything, or if you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section below. If you want to help the channel out, subscribe. If you want to help the channel out even more, you can go to my Cults 3D and my CG Trader page to buy the 3D sculpts that I've made available. So if you've got a 3D printer, you can basically print and use those prints for your custom projects. So if you want to help me out, definitely do that. Thank you so much again for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day.